Well, hey everyone, this is Grace of GB Maltese, and I thought I'd work on these cute little Christmas glasses today. I'm going to be making them for my great nephew who is 3 years old. I think he's going to have a really good time wearing these and enjoying himself with that. This drill tray is one that my nephew made for me, and it's actually the father to the one I'm making these glasses for. And I have my first drills that I'm going to use in here. So we'll get started. And as I'm working on these glasses, I'm going to be telling you a true crime story. Excuse me. You'll have to excuse all the drainage I got going on here. It just isn't getting any better. Now, before I start on these glasses, this plastic stuff is hard to get off sometimes. I'm going to show you what I do. I either use my really sharp tweezers, or I have these sharp scissors here, and I'm going to I put it to the edge, and I keep working it until, of course, it's gonna take me longer because I'm doing it in front of you guys. Oh, there we go. Okay. It slid up underneath there, and then you can pull that off. I'll take this completely off because even if I don't finish this, I'm not going to cover it with this again. I'll use one of my silicone papers to cover it because that plastic is, it's not fun to deal with. So this is the color we're going to start out with. I am just using it straight from the bags. Cut them off. And this is number one. I always go in order. So we're going to do all the number ones, which are yellows. And let me tell you a little bit about the story that I will be telling you about. This is the story of George Karras. And this guy was what you would call an obsessive freak. This is a picture of George Karras. As you can see, that's an old looking photo because this took place in 1918. Now look at him. To look at that picture, you think, oh, he looks like a nice guy. Look at that nice mustache. But then, oh, yeah, this is a wanted poster for attempted murder. This is The Obsession of George Karras, and it took place in Westbridge, Pennsylvania in 1918. So let me get started so you can hear what happened. This guy is a total Fruit Loop. There's something wrong, really wrong. And I may interject a few of my thoughts in here as I go along because I'm just appalled at what actually happened. Okay, back in, around 1918, there was a couple, and their name was Mary and Mitre Lynch Pavlinich. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm doing my best, okay? I'm doing my best. And they were renting rooms in their home, okay? They had extra rooms, so they converted part of it into a boarding house. Well, one day, George Karras, who was 39 years old, came along and he wanted to rent a room. Well, George Karras is 39 years old. He had this beautiful mustache. He was very charming. He had the build of a boxer, nice square shoulders. Looked like a nice guy. And when you look at his picture, he looks like he might be maybe a nice person. Well, we'll find out a little bit more about little George soon. So they rent him a room, and while he is staying, and also he's probably must be very smart because he spoke 3 languages. He could easily converse in German, Italian, and English. So, let's say he's very charming, smart fella. But there was something wrong with them. Mary and Maeterlinck had daughters. They had, several, I don't know, I think maybe 5 daughters. They had several daughters. Their oldest daughter was named Catherine, and she was 18 years old. Old George here gets this obsession over her. He is in love. He's madly in love with her. And, okay, he's 39. She's 18. How far do you think that's going to get? Well, she, of course, does not return that love. He watched her, followed her around. He just loved her. And he expected her to love him back, as you'll find out. Well, she did not love him, but she did fall in love with another young man. And they decided to get married. The man she decides to marry, his name is Frank Brozich. It doesn't tell us anything about him. The only thing that we know is on the day of their wedding, after they have done their nuptials, old George, he did attend the wedding, okay? He's there attending the wedding, watching. After they have finished their nuptials, old George pulls out his .38 caliber automatic pistol and shoots the bridegroom in the arm. Yeah, I guess it could be worse. He could have killed him, but he didn't. He shot him in the arm, and it doesn't say anything ever happened to George, like he wasn't arrested. Oh, I remember what happened. Okay, it's coming back to me. They were terrified of George because he has a very bad temper. They decided not to press charges. That's the whole reason he didn't go to jail for this. They were scared of him. So Catherine and Frank decided not to press charges. Luckily, it was just a shot in the arm, and he didn't kill the guy. Wow. That's going some. Can you imagine? On your wedding day, your, brand new husband gets shot in the arm because this crazy dude was so obsessed with you. Okay. That's just all sorts of wrong. Anyway, if I had been the parents, I'd have kicked him out of the boarding house. But he continued living there. And the thing that really is sick about the story is coming up next. Okay, he goes back. He's still living in the boarding house. If I was the parents, as I said, I'd have kicked his butt out of there. I'm like, get out of our home. Maybe they were scared of him too. I don't know. Anyway, they have a young daughter named Barbara, and she's 13 years old. Well, George decides to put his obsession on Barbara now. She is only 13 years old. This is disgusting. The father is very upset because he is following Barbara everywhere. He does not think she should go out anywhere without him being with her. So, she wants to go down to the store and get her a candy or whatever. He's going to be right there with her. The father got mad about this. Okay, he's already shot someone in the arm. So when he sees this obsession with his youngest 13-year-old daughter, he does ask him to leave. And he leaves, but that ain't going to stop old George. Oh, no. He rents a room right across the street so he can keep his eyes on Barbara. Anytime she leaves the house, he's following. He watches every move she makes. So he has this crazy obsession. I don't know, something about these girls. The Pavlovich girls must have been just fascinating. I don't know. But old George, he's just a weirdo. So he is still watching her from across the road. She goes somewhere, he's gonna follow. Now one night, this is a Friday night, and Barbara goes out with an elderly woman who happens to be one of their neighbors and some of the neighbor kids. It doesn't say where they were going, but they were going out. Maybe they were going to the movies or going out for supper. It doesn't say. I don't know where they were going, but they went out, and George sees them leave, and he goes out looking for them. He hunts them down and finds them. Now, this is how weird George is. Once he finds them, he has his .38 automatic with him, and he shoots Barbara in the belly 5 times. Okay. Isn't that what you would do to someone that, you are obsessed with or so in love with or whatever? I guess he figured if nobody could have her, if he couldn't have her, nobody else would. So he shoots her 5 times in the stomach. Barbara didn't die at that time. They took her to the doctor. And old George, he takes off. He goes into hiding. Now, think about a place that he could go where no one would ever think to go look for him. Just think about that for a minute. If you guessed that he went back to the Pavlinich's boarding house, you would be correct. Yes, he went there because the town, they had a posse out looking for him everywhere. Well, he's over at the boarding house. I don't know exactly where at, if he's hiding behind it, but he ends up writing the mother a note. Not sure where he put it, where she could find it, but he wrote her a note. And this is what he wrote. He said, "If Barbara lives, I hope that you and she can forgive me." Because if this, he's feeling bad that he shot her. Oh, well, too little, too late at this point. And then he also goes on to write, "If Barbara dies, I will come back here and I will kill myself in front of you. And I hope that God forgives me." Okay, so basically he's telling her he's going to come back if Barbara dies, and he's going to commit suicide right there in front of the mother. That's just weird. That's just weird. He should have thought this through before he ever shot poor Barbara. So, what he does is George hides out in the woods during the day, and he only comes out during the nighttime. 2 weeks they have been searching for George, and they have not found him. Poor Barbara. She's fighting for her life during this time. She was between life and death this whole time. The shots had torn up her intestines. Can you imagine the pain? When I think about what the medical profession would have been like back in the 1918, I'm like, wow. But Barbara, by a miracle, survives. She does not die. And I looked her up. I wanted to see if I could find anything else about her, and I couldn't, but I did find out that she lived to be 76 years old. So evidently she recovered and was able to live several years afterwards. So I was glad for Barbara. So they're still searching for sweet old George. So he's been hiding out. Then one day he decides, well, in the meantime, he had also shaved off his mustache. I guess he thinks shaving that mustache, nobody's ever going to recognize him. But he is hiding out during the day and coming out at night. Well, one day he decides to go out in the daytime. And guess where he is headed? Yes, back to Barbara's home. Well, people recognize him. Okay, just because you shaved off your mustache, George, yeah, you probably look pretty much the same. So they catch him. And he has a trial. And during the trial, he was convicted of felonious assault and battery. So, since she did not die, it was not murder. It does not say how many years he was in prison. But remember, this was 1918. In 1921, he wanted to be paroled. Yeah, I guess he thought, I've served my time, or I need to get back out. Well, he was not paroled, and they said that he served his time, and then he just kind of faded off. So I tried to find George Karras. I couldn't find him anywhere. So it doesn't say what happened to him. Don't know what happened to him. I'm just sure everyone was just thrilled to pieces that George was gone. Not only would Barbara be thrilled to death, but can you imagine her sister Catherine and husband? Yeah. Too bad they were too scared to do something about him before, but I guess they were afraid he was going to kill them. So he's gone. Don't know what happened to him. He just faded from view. And that was the end of that story. We know Barbara survived, and I guess they went on about their business as usual because George is now gone. But here was an interesting little fact that came up. They said that in 1938, okay, Mary is Catherine and Barbara's mother. In 1938, she is 71 years old. The police found a bed of marijuana growing in there somewhere. It didn't say where, like if it was in the yard or in the house. I don't know where she was growing it. I didn't even know that was, a big thing back in the 1930s. I thought, mostly alcohol. But no, she was growing her own marijuana. Well, we do know that it does have some medicinal value now, but they didn't then. So she was arrested and she was fined $250. And I looked up to see how much money that would be today. So $250 back then. Today, the price is equal to $4,840.48. So that was a large sum of money for growing her a little bit of weed. It does not say how long it says she was arrested. It doesn't say if she was put in jail or how long she was in jail. It doesn't go into that much detail. And I looked it up. Mary Pavlovich growing marijuana. Nothing came up. So I'm like, really? Come on. I guess that's old hat now because, marijuana is legal in many states. Not in Texas, but surely it will be at one point because I do know that it helps many people. And I know that is an issue of debate for people about the marijuana. I'm not going to get into a debate about that or say what I think about it. I say, if you're not hurting anybody, we're okay. And that's all I'm going to say. But I thought it was very strange back in 1938 that she had her own bed of marijuana. That was, it kind of made me giggle when I read it. And I'm like, oh, I could just see this marijuana growing. I'm sure she was making money selling that. Oh, well. I wonder how they dried and and rolled it and everything back then in the day. Interesting. Interesting facts. I may have to look that up about in the 1930s, how they, sold the marijuana. Or did they roll it up, or what did they do with it? I don't know. Any of you know? Because I don't. I should have looked that up. I didn't think about it. I was so involved in this story and this crazy old George. I wanted to find out more about George, but it didn't say anything else. I guess George learned his lesson and he went off somewhere else. And if he committed crime somewhere else, I don't know. I mean, he could have easily changed his name if he wanted to do that. We might see a picture of him somewhere else. I don't know. So, obsessive people can be kind of scary when they're obsessing over a person. And we see that today, that people obsess over other people, and they can be very dangerous. So this is not something new, and I think most people know that. Things that happen today, I find that history repeats itself over and over. And, yeah, people who obsess over other people, they can be dangerous because I don't want anyone else to have them. So, have any of you ever know of any other strange crimes that you've heard about? There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on today, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to look at some of the old ones, and I'll find some of the newer ones too. And you might be thinking, why are you talking about? Well, let me tell you, I have always been fascinated in this, and the main reason is I wonder what makes these people tick. Why do they do that? And obviously, there is a mental illness somewhere. And it does show that many people who suffer abuse and other things can become violent. There are things that they look for in people. Now, not everybody that's been abused commits crimes, okay? And there are many different types of abuse. There is, of course, sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. And not everybody who, in fact, most people who have been abused do not go out killing people or shooting people or doing something to harm someone else. But some people have a hard time maybe getting over it, processing it. I really don't know. But I just, I don't know. The human brain is a very complicated organ, muscle, whatever, I guess. And once someone's brain is damaged, there's nothing that can be done. That's why you need to take care of yourself. Be careful what you put in your body, because it will affect your brain. All that goes straight to the brain. Okay, why aren't you getting off of here? Okay, I have one. Let me put it over here. Okay. This one doesn't want to stick in this little corner, but I will. I am going to make it work, because we got to have a star on top of this tree. And I do plan on sealing this with my one and only sealer that I use, which is Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. And I did a video about that. I'll link it below. I'm thinking I need to do an updated video on that, so I can do it maybe a little faster. That one, but I was showing, excuse me, some other things when I was doing that. But that's all I will use to seal. And I'll do a video more about sealing diamond paintings if, you choose to seal something. You don't have to seal your items. Hold on, my dogs are going nuts. Must be a package. Hold on. There was nothing. Nothing. I go outside and look around, and there's no one out there. The dogs are barking at nothing. I am expecting something from Walmart and from FedEx, but it wasn't anything. The the FedEx guy wasn't there. So they gave me a false alarm. Oops, I didn't I didn't pick one up here. But anyway, as I was saying, oh, it went sideways. Goodness grace. As I was talking about the ceiling, I'll do a video in a little more detail because I've been having some questions lately about ceiling, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about when I would seal something and when I wouldn't. And it just depends. Everybody's different. You got to do what you want to do. You can't let somebody else tell you. Okay, finished with that color. Don't see any more yellows. So we got all of the ones in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these things back into this bag. Just like this. Oops, I'm getting a little overzealous here. Sometimes when I'm trying to put it in the little bags, it doesn't want to go in there the way I want to. Okay, there we go. Now, pick these suckers up. I just dab them up with my fingers. If I have a whole bunch, I'll use something else. And then what I do, because I've got lots of different washi tapes, I'll get some washi tape. I will fold this bag over and seal it, just in case I skipped one of my stones or whatever. Once this is sealed, they're not going to fall off. Now, some people keep all of their drills. I don't. And the main reason I don't is because many times the color of the, even if it's the exact same DMC code, they're not the same. They don't look the same. They are off a little bit. Like, it might be a yellow, but it may be a darker shade of yellow or a little bit lighter shade. It's just like with yarn. If you crochet, knit, loom knit, whatever, you do anything with yarn, you'll know what I'm talking about. There are different dye lots. And the same thing is with these drills. Anytime you dye something, it's very easy to come out with a slightly different color. So, it may not look exactly the same. And I just, and I don't know, maybe I've just been lucky, I don't know. I've always had enough drills in all my kits. And I don't know, I've not had to panic with it. And it seems like if I did run out of a color, I probably wouldn't have that color in the first place. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Everybody does it different. Now, there are some special drills that I get that I think are pretty cool, and I might save some of those to use on some other type of project. And sometimes I'll save some of these little rhinestone things. It just depends if I have something else I've got in mind. But I just don't have a whole lot of room to store a bunch of stuff because I do other crafts. And if you're like me and you do other things, you run out of room. You start running out of room to put stuff. So that's just how I feel about it. Okay, I'm doing number 2, which are the reds, of course. And as you can see, this is very easy. I'm just holding it in my hand because you can't really lay this down because it isn't going to lay flat. He's got glasses on the other side. Okay. This is going to be so cute. He's going to love this. I can just see him already going around, running around, just laughing, showing them to everybody, looking at us. He's so adorable anyway. When I go to my sister's, I always get to see him, and we have fun playing. So I can't wait to see him wearing these. That's going to be so much fun. Anyway, I think I have probably talked enough for today. Just kind of yapping about other things now. And I hope you enjoyed the story. Tell me what other thing. I also like to talk about crazy laws. Sometimes you'll hear that kind of stuff. I get interested in a lot of different things, and I just like to share it with someone else, which would be you. I'll share some things, of course, with my husband. I've said this before because I like to watch true crime TV, and he's saying, "Yeah, you looking for different ways to do away with me." I said, "I would never do that." But it just makes you wonder. I mean, because a lot of these crimes are of passion, and if you fall out of love with someone, don't kill them. Just give them their freedom and move on. Money isn't everything either. So, don't be going out killing for money. Good gracious. Anyway, I'm going to go for now. You guys have a blessed day. Love you guys. You take care. Tell me what you're working on. Are you getting ready for some Christmas things? I know there are other different events coming up. Enjoyed our All Craftably event we had going on. And now I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. I don't remember if I told you that I got this. This is from dpclubs.com. I thought it was so cute. I may have to get some more of these glasses to give to some other people. I mean, shoot. Maybe I need to wear a pair. You never know. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, guys. Y'all take care. I love you. God bless you. Bye.